there's going to be one less puddle of sweat on the floor mat of the congressional gym because Marjorie Taylor Greene, yet another Trump superfan, learns that loyalty to him goes only one way.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead.
I have to say, this woman is being attacked from all sides right now. Somehow, she still had time to put up her Christmas tree. Not even Thanksgiving. She says Congress is beholden to the super wealthy and ignores the needs of ordinary Americans. She says her party has no plan for health care and that the Jeffrey Epstein files are not a hoax, as the president claims they are. To which I say, welcome to reality, Marge. We're glad to have you here. Make yourself at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Are the Epstein files out yet? No? Okay. How about now? Are they, All right, just checking. You'll let me know. Stop me in mid-sentence if anything happens over there.
Hey, this is Max from UNFTR for the Midas Touch Network, and it seems that the Trump administration has punted, for the time being at least, on the much-anticipated Trump-supported GOP healthcare plan. So we have so much to get into, but apparently the upshot here is that you can't design a comprehensive healthcare plan for 350 million people on the back of a napkin. So Trump's only opinion on the matter seems to be that he wants Americans to be in control of spending their money instead of the health insurance companies in control of spending the money. So he's tasked the GOP with the plan to give Americans money so that they can spend it on the health insurance company.
Picture this. It's 12:49 in the morning. Most of America is asleep, but not Donald Trump. He's wide awake, glued to his TV, rage posting on Truth Social because two comedians just spent another evening exposing his secrets on live television. Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, the dynamic duo of late night, the men Trump calls no-talent losers, the guys he's been trying to silence for years, and yet somehow every time Trump attacks them, they only get stronger. Here's the thing about these two. They're not just making jokes, they're documenting history, they're pulling receipts, and when it comes to exposing Trump's darkest secrets, nobody does it better.
Feel free to check out our science wing while you have a chance. But you know what? Congress's loss is Love Island's gain, and I wish her a lot of luck. Marjorie is out, and Mamdani is in. Trump, I don't know if you saw this, but Donald Trump hosted a highly unlikely Friendsgiving on Friday at the White House for the incoming mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani. Most people were expecting fireworks, but they did not expect them to be the Katy Perry kind.
Just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks?
I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay? It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't know.
I don't mind. Who are we kidding? I don't even know what despot means. Call me whatever you want.
Because yesterday, after months of Trump fighting tooth and cankle to hold back the Republican Party from doing the right thing, he just went ahead and gave up and signed the bill to release the Epstein files. Yeah. One day you're going to have a very complicated conversation with your grandchildren about why you just cheered.
Interest rates are down, and now we are starting to see the affordability. The prices get better. We had a very big October for home sales. Energy prices, gasoline is down. We saw, we believe healthcare is going to come down. We will see an announcement this coming week on that. And so across the board, prices are starting to come down. We're having Thanksgiving week. This will be the lowest cost for a Thanksgiving dinner in 4 years. Turkey prices are down 16%.
If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're about to show you exactly why Trump loses sleep over these two every single night. Let's start with Colbert. This man has been getting under Trump's skin since before Trump even announced his presidential run. Back in 2006, Colbert stood feet away from President George W. Bush at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and roasted him to his face while half the cabinet walked out. The room went silent. Nobody would make eye contact with Colbert afterward, but the internet went absolutely nuclear. It became the most talked about speech in White House Correspondents' history. That was just the warm-up. Fast forward to 2017, Trump is president, and Colbert delivers what might be the most savage presidential takedown in television history.
Even though Trump told Republicans to all vote for this, he was clearly furious that they did. He signed the bill after the White House issued a so-called photo lid, which shut down any on-camera opportunities. He signed it off camera, and he'll sign anything on camera. Executive orders, sneakers, lady parts, wall parts, a toddler. Trump is avoiding cameras. That's like the Pillsbury Doughboy avoiding nudity.
I mean, they have the vibe of a wealthy, elderly gay man at the Cheesecake Factory ordering his shy young boyfriend dessert.
He really ran an incredible race, and I congratulated him. It's an amazing thing that he did. I think you're going to have, hopefully, a really great mayor. And the better he does, the happier I am. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help. We're going to help him. We're going to be helping him. I'll be cheering for him. A lot of my voters actually voted for him, and
1 in 10.
And I'm okay with that.
What a turn of events! It was like he was giving a wedding toast to his new son-in-law. He's effusive. It's almost as if, and I know this sounds crazy, it's almost as if Trump doesn't have any real political convictions at all. He just says whatever, whenever. I mean, look at these two. They're smiling. He's grabbing his hand. He's touching him all over. He could not keep his hands off the Zoran. I mean, get a Lincoln bedroom, you two. He touched him more in that press conference than he's touched Melania all year.
After Trump disrespected CBS journalist John Dickerson in an interview, calling his show Deface the Nation, Colbert had enough. Mr. Trump, your presidency? I love your presidency. I call it Disgrace the Nation. You're not the POTUS, you're the BLOTUS. You're the glutton with the button. You're a regular George Washington. You're the Presidunce, but you're turning into a real pricktator. But Colbert wasn't done. He looked right into the camera and said, in fact, the only thing your mouth is good for is being Vladimir Putin's cock holster. The audience went insane. The FCC opened an investigation. Trump supporters started the hashtag #FireColbert.
Honestly, I don't even know why I do this anymore. I mean, if the world's worst hedge fund manager, remember Scott Bessent lost 90% of the value in his hedge fund, while the S&P gained 167% over the same time period, so Trump put him in charge of all of our money? Well, if Scott Bessent thinks that you're a crybaby for complaining about gas prices and grocery prices, then maybe you're the problem. And better yet, they have a healthcare plan coming, so it's going to be much cheaper and awesome, so stop your whining. And he's right on all of it. You know, except that inflation is still above 3%, and grocery prices are 25% higher than they were last year, and gas prices are literally unmoved. Oh, and they were going to release their plan, but then they decided not to.
This really got the MAGAverse twisted. They had to unplug and reboot Sean Hannity 5 times after this meeting. This is the reaction at Fox Business Channel.
Wow. Just one word, wow.
Hey, is that a good wow or a bad wow? Or a sham wow? Nobody knows. After weeks of painting Mamdani as the 4th horseman of the Trumpocalypse, they didn't know what to do with themselves. This is how upside down this crop of MAGAteers is. They're mad at Trump. Some of them are furious at Trump because he was friendly with the new mayor of New York. Last week, he had a big celebratory dinner for the Saudi prince whose goons dismembered a columnist for the Washington Post. No problem. This, too much. I got news for you guys. Anybody who was surprised that Trump got along with Mamdani should not be surprised. Trump loves when famous people come to visit.
And you know what Colbert did? He came back the next night and said, I don't regret that. I have jokes. He has the launch codes, so it's a fair fight. That right there tells you everything you need to know about Stephen Colbert. He doesn't back down. Not for Trump, not for anyone. Drop a comment below if you remember watching that moment live. It was absolutely legendary. Now here's where it gets interesting. When Trump won in 2024, a Rolling Stone report revealed that Trump was planning to punish late-night comedians for what he called giving illegal campaign contributions to the Democratic Party in the form of jokes and on-air satire.
More proof that these files are making Trump soil his ample briefs? Well, last night, he went online to shift blame to Democrats with a full Unabomber-length manifesto. There it is. Imagine if you got that as a text. Well, I do not have to read all of that, bro. I do not have the time. I'm just going to hit you with a ha-ha. Now,
So as I mentioned on my weekly roundup on UNFTR this week, remember kids, when Scott looks like he's about to cry and he has a lot of trouble using his words, it means he's lying. But there's so much more to this part of the story than Scott Bessent having a difficult relationship with the truth. The Trump administration was prepared to release its comprehensive healthcare plan as early as this week, just in time for Thanksgiving, as millions of Americans are nervously heading into the holidays with more debt, less money, and many facing a financial cliff with the health insurance enrollment window set to close on December 15.
Mom Donnie, he's suddenly this big name, this big star. He calls the White House and asks for a meeting. Trump's like, he wants a meeting with me? Mom Donnie shows up. He's this young, handsome, charismatic guy who came out of nowhere and won big in the most important city in the world, Trump's hometown, no less. He walks in, he smiles, he shakes Trump's hand. Trump now looks over in the corner. He sees J.D. Vance, all sweaty and eager. And he looks at you, he sees Stephen Miller sucking on his pinkies. And he looks around at all these weird, unattractive, AI-generated human vomits in his office. And he's like, why can't I have this Mom Donnie around? It's the classic opposites attract love story, and Hollywood is taking notice.
Colbert's response? Pure gold. He celebrated making Trump's enemies list, put on a fake mustache and glasses as a disguise, and said, obviously, there's no guarantee I'll be arrested, but it's an honor just to be nominated. Meanwhile, Kimmel was making the same jokes, both of them mocking the idea that Trump would throw them in prison, both of them refusing to be intimidated. But Trump's revenge came in a different form. In July 2025, just days after Colbert called CBS's $16 million settlement with Trump over a 60 Minutes lawsuit a big fat bribe,
Not only has Trump made a new friend, he's also got a new look. You've seen over the weekend wearing a scarf. There is Don Burgundy, and it's weird, right? It's like seeing Batman in shorts or something. But I would say that maroon, it really brings out the color of his neck vagina. And this is the week that he pardons the turkey, so he has to keep that floppy gobbler covered so the birds don't get sexually aroused. Oh, man, Trump's palling around with the hot New York mayor and a new burgundy scarf. He's giving off major Carrie Bradshaw energy right now. It was a bad day in court today for Lance Cheeto. A federal judge dismissed Trump's brazenly corrupt efforts to incarcerate his political adversaries, in this case, former FBI Director Jim Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. The first U.S. attorney Trump appointed to exact revenge on these guys resigned because he didn't see a reason to bring charges. So Trump appointed a supporter named Lindsay Halligan, a low-level insurance lawyer who worked for him, to be U.S. attorney. Gee, I wonder why he picked her.
Trump tried to claim credit for the thing he desperately fought to stop. As everybody knows, I asked Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass this bill. Because of this request, the votes were almost unanimous in favor of passage. Right. You know, so in a way, he won. It reminds me of Julius Caesar's famous last words, "Great job, Brute."
Now, you've probably heard that premiums across the board on the ACA exchanges are set to increase on average 26% next year. That is a staggering number on its own. But this situation is far more nuanced and even more dire than this increase. There are 24.3 million people enrolled in the ACA marketplace. 9 out of 10 of them have plans that are subsidized by the government, subsidies that will expire at the end of December. So we're looking at a double whammy. Insurance companies jacking up the premiums by 26%, and the subsidies that help people afford those premiums are disappearing entirely.
CBS announced they were canceling The Late Show. Trump took to Truth Social immediately. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Colbert's response the next night? He looked right into what he called the eloquence cam and delivered a message to the president. Go fuck yourself. The audience erupted. They chanted his name. Outside the Ed Sullivan Theater, protesters gathered with signs reading, "Colbert stays, Trump must go." Senator Elizabeth Warren demanded an investigation into whether the cancellation was politically motivated. The Writers Guild called it a bribe to curry favor with the Trump administration. And what happened next? Colbert won his first Emmy for Outstanding Talk Series.
Halligan had never even tried a case as a prosecutor, and now she never will again. This was the most crushing defeat for Lindsay Halligan since she was third runner-up at the Miss Colorado pageant in 2010. According to the court ruling, all actions flowing from Ms. Halligan's defective appointment were unlawful exercises of executive power and are hereby set aside, which is a nice way of saying, man, did they royally F that one up. Sometimes you get hung up on how evil they are, you forget they're also dumb.
So let me give you the real numbers here, and I do want to direct you to an exceptional piece by a guy named Steven Semler that breaks all of this down in forensic detail. Seriously, subscribe to his Substack. I'm going to leave it in the notes because this is the kind of reporting that we desperately need. So according to Semler's analysis, the federal government spent more than $124 billion supporting the entire marketplace in 2024. The enhanced subsidies alone cost about $35 billion annually, although that estimate was made before insurers announced their 26% premium hike. So it's probably going to get even bigger. So even with massive federal subsidies, marketplace coverage still costs consumers around $500 a month, $6,000 a year.
So, Trump signed the bill. It is now law. The Epstein files must be released. Specifically, the Justice Department now has 30 days to publish whatever information it has, meaning the deadline is December 19th. So it's going to be a very special Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. And I wouldn't have made that reference, Jake, if you ever invited me to your party.
This is why Trump can't stop watching these shows. This is why he posts at 1 in the morning like a man possessed. Because Kimmel and Colbert don't just mock him, they document him, they expose him, they remind America every single night exactly who this man is. And here's what makes their partnership so powerful. These two aren't rivals, they're friends. They have a group text chain with the other late-night hosts called Strike Force 5. They appeared on each other's shows. When Colbert's show got canceled, Kimmel immediately posted, "Love you, Steven," and told CBS where to shove it. They protect each other. They amplify each other. And together, they reach tens of millions of Americans every single week with the truth about Donald Trump. Trump thought he could silence them. He thought threatening their networks would make them bow down. Instead, he created the most motivated, most unified force in late-night history. Subscribe to this channel right now and hit that notification bell because we're documenting every moment of this battle. Kimmel and Colbert aren't backing down, and neither are we. Trump can post at midnight all he wants. He can threaten networks. He can celebrate cancellations. But as long as there's a camera and an audience, these two will be there, exposing, mocking, documenting, and driving Donald Trump absolutely insane.